So today's session is question and answer. So I would be expecting you to unmute your mics to ask questions or raise your hand or drop your questions in the chat box for me to answer. And today will be the last of our Monday sessions in 2025, and then we'll pick it up again in January on a date that will be communicated to us in 2026, God giving us life. Yes. So how many of you are here preparing for exam? How many of you are here that have written the exam and you are thinking, okay, so what is next for me? How many of you are here that are thinking of PGUs? How many of you are here thinking, okay, so after I get my 60 PDUs for PMP, what next? How do I renew my certification? So this is the time for you to ask your question. There's a question here. How much is the fee for the exams registration? Registering for the exam is free. To write PMP exam, we call it application. You apply, it's free. But the exam fee varies. If you are not a member of PMI at all, it's 575 USD, 575 USD. If you are a member of PMI Global, maybe you paid $109 only, then your PMP exam fee will be 425 USD, 425 USD. If you are a member of any of the Africa chapters, maybe you're a member of PMI Nigeria, PMI Ghana, PMI Tanzania, PMI Angola, PMI Benin, PMI Togo, PMI Zimbabwe, PMI South Africa, and you are residing in Africa, your exam fee is $284. $284. And then people who pay through us, they pay $274. So I hope all right, so there's another question here. There's okay, I've written, is this current? Okay, so someone is asking, please, when does PMI send the result of PMP certification exam? Previously, when you write the exam, then they give you your response. When I failed, it was there. I became sick immediately. But because of fraudulent activities, they will first give you your preliminary response. They will tell you that preliminarily you passed or you failed. And they will tell you that give up to 5 working days for them to get back to you for confirmation. And what they do is to do some investigations to see whether you didn't ask these Asians to take over your computer, you're not involved in anything. And I've also realized it doesn't take 5 days at all, especially if you wrote maybe on Monday, Tuesday, weekdays. It doesn't take 5 days. They will now send you an email to congratulate you again. So it's within 5 days, but usually they take less than 5 days to get back to you. Another question, I have written my exam and I want to know what is next. So I'm assuming that you passed your exam. So congratulations on that. What is next is dependent on where you are or what you want to do. So let me use myself as example. When I wrote my PMP in 2011 and I finally passed, I didn't think about any certifications again. First of all, I was even worried. How am I going to get 60 PTs? Say 60, And the PMI Ghana then was just starting. So we didn't have what we have now, where when you've every month, the chapter had a lot of events or meetings for you to get PDUs. And that was the reason in fact, I volunteered before I wrote the exam. And then, yeah. So it became my worry. And then I realized I didn't have to worry, that PDUs is actually not big deal. But I'm a consultant. So as I consult and I do market research, people are talking about pre-project activities, and I'm unable to contribute significantly, or even offer advice. And then PBA, I read about PBA, that's professional business analysis, and I realized I will need this. And I did the PBA. And then after I finished with the PBA, in 2016, thereabout, we're talking about Scrum, that is adaptive and all that. I said, okay, I think I need it. So I wrote Scrum. Scrum is not PMI certifications for me to understand the job, because like I said, I consult. So I needed all this information or knowledge. And then I did the Scrum 2016. Then I went on break. And then I said, okay, if I did Scrum and I'm a PMI person, let me do the ACP, the Agile Certified Practitioner, then I did the ACP. Then in 2020, 21, when we had the COVID, PMI did research to find out about the organizations that thrived after COVID. And it was found out that those who had a risk management culture, they were able to handle the adverse effects of COVID better than the organizations without the risk culture. Then I did the risk management professional. Then by virtue of what I do, organizations would invite, okay, so for me as a person, I don't want to offer service that I'm not qualified or skilled to. And so based on that, our organization will call you, they have lots of projects, you want to recommend they establishing PMOs, or you want to help them standardize their PMO and all that. So I had to write the PMO certification. Then CP came, even though I have someone in-house that is training CP, I'm also involved a bit in construction. And I felt, no, write this exam, then I wrote the CP exam. So my journey when it comes to certification is based on what I want to achieve for myself and then for my organization, because the goal for the organization is that we should be a hub for certifications. So you need to look at yourself, your career growth path, what you want to do, and then maybe have a one-on-one conversation with someone that you think will be able to advise you. Then you do that. So when you go to PMI's website, you see that we have, when you click on certifications, on the left, you have the core certifications. You have the CAPM, you have the PMP, you have the PGMP, you have the PFMP. The PGMP is Program Management Professional, PFMP, Portfolio Management Professional. And so these are the core certifications. And then to the right, you have specialized certifications. These are the risk management, Agile certified, PMO, PBA, and all that. So what you are doing now and where you want to be would inform you what the next certification you should go for. There's another question. I'm preparing to sit the exam in a week time. What can I do to the last week of writing the exam? What you should do is practice questions, get good simulator. Some people want to write the exam and all they are doing is they go on Google and or YouTube and they are looking for some few questions and all that. And this is actually paid service. So I am not sure of the quality of questions you are going to find there. But try to get an interactive simulator. What I mean by interactive simulator is one that is time boxed, so that as you practice, you're also practicing timing, how fast you are or how slow you are. And then look for simulator that will reveal the questions, so that you know what you got right and what you got wrong with justifications. And also be strategic about how you study. I tell people, look, you need to find out your best time of the day. I am a morning person, so I do most learning in the mornings. But if I'm unable to get mornings to study, I create my morning by taking maybe quick or what I call power nap, 5 to 30 minutes. Then when I wake up, I try to eat something. This is me. I try to eat something so that I will actually be fully awake. And I ensure that I start studying latest 30 minutes after I wake up, because then my brain has had reset. Okay. So that is one. Then two, get good simulator. Then three, use your exam review as study time. When you are attempting the questions, you will come across terms or phrases that you don't know. Write them down and read about them. Don't rely so much on ChatGPT. You can rely on PMI Infinity. So use the PMI Infinity, ask questions. If you're a member of PMI, you can download the PMI app. And then you have access to the Infinity. So don't just gloss over words or phrases that you don't know, or tools that you don't know. Maybe you came across Fibonacci like this. And you say, what is that? I don't even know. Then you, or you come across a fishbone, and say, or a shika, I don't know. Then you gloss over it. You will not forgive yourself if you came across it in the exam. So your review time is actually your study time. So these are the things that I can, and you have to study every week. And you also have to tell yourself you can do it, because sometimes it can be overwhelming. So tell yourself you can do it, do constructive studying, ask people that can answer questions. Sometimes you can just ask someone, can you explain this to me? And you won't forget it because someone explained. Of course, you have to verify it, whatever they explain to you. So I hope I answered your question. For that person that has 1 week left to write the exam, is there any volunteering opportunities here? Josephine Ananin, I'm assuming you are a Ghanaian. And so PMI Ghana just posted some volunteering opportunities today. Project a project manager for 2026 National Project Management Conference, project manager for what again? I mean, I saw a couple, and after this, you can send me a message. I will share the contact of the head volunteering of PMI Ghana chapter for you to see. I always encourage people to volunteer. I've been volunteering since 2011. It's a difficult thing to do because one, you are not paid, and two, human beings, they have demands that they themselves will not meet. It helps in you discovering yourself, and you keep learning, because sometimes they will ask you questions that you don't know. If you are a result-oriented person, you would have to read about it. And I believe in this scripture that says it's more blessed to give than receive, and that the Lord will reward you. So I encourage you to volunteer. Hi, Jumoke, for hosting this session. You are doing great work. Oh, thank you. I recently registered as a PMI member, and I intend to take the PMP exam. Good decision. I want to ask, what are the steps to take towards this in terms of preparation, application, study resources, as I am new to this and not sure how to proceed. Also, what is PDU and how is it relevant to a member? So, Mushilat, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name well. If you said that you have applied You have registered as a member. Okay, you have registered as a member. Congratulations. So if you say you have registered as a member, have you paid? Because that is what makes you a member. It is when you pay for your membership subscription that makes you a member. You are asking how you intend to go about the PMP exam. Of course, one of the requirements is you should have the training. We call it 35-hour training. And then you should have 36 months of project management work experience. So you need 35-hour training and 36-month project management work experience. That's 3 years. And then the training. The training, please go to ATPs, authorized training partners with PMI. I am one. I am an ATP instructor, and OK Value is ATP partner with PMI. The ATP stands for Authorized Training Partners. In Ghana, we are just about 6 or so. And you can actually check in your country the ATPs. There's a registry, I think there's a link where you can use to check. The reason why you should go to ATP is because they are likely going to give you what PMI expects you should know about the certification. They have the slides from PMI. And sometimes people ask me, Jimmy, is a PMP exam not based on PMBOK? And I go like, okay, previously, the exam, the PMP was based on only PMBOK fourth edition. Sorry, I say fourth, because I used the fourth edition to write the exam. So this was my, and you can see the thickness. I don't know if you can see it. It's how thick it was. So every question was based on the PMBOK. Okay. Every question was based on the PMBOK. And those years we had the input, tools and techniques, output, and all that. But from 2nd January 2021, the exam changed. And now the exam is now based on what we call ECO, Exam Content Outline. And so PMBOK, that's Project Management Body of Knowledge, is just one of the resources that the ECO is based on. So this current exam is based on PMBOK 6th edition, PMBOK 7th edition, and 9 additional books. How did I know this? As ATP, when I was getting ready, because you do train the trainer and then you write exam. And so it was only the trainer they mentioned it. I thought, oh, okay, I know that now the exam is no longer based on PMBOK only, but I never knew that they're actually 11. Like, what is it called? PMBOK 6th, 7th, and 9. So if you went to someone that is not ATP, the person probably wrote the exam before 2021, and that exam he or she wrote is based on the 6th edition, because the 6th edition only is based on input, tools and techniques, and outputs. And the person will teach you based on that. And then the person has heard that, oh, now PMP has a bit of Agile. Then we ask you to go and download the Agile guide or get something and train you. It's not the same. So earlier this year, I forgot one of the certifications I went to write, but at the center, I was asked, because that's where I've been writing my exams since 2011, so I'm relatively known there. I was asked, how do people prepare for exam? Because according to them, more than 70% of people who write PMP fail. And when they fail, they go like, oh, what I was taught and the exam is not the same. And I'm wondering, did they use simulator? Because my first exam I wrote, I didn't use simulator, so I couldn't weigh myself the knowledge that I had, you know. So that is the challenge. So get ATP, you can do it through us, or you search with your name. I can tell that you are a Nigerian. You can do it in Nigeria, but because we do virtual training, you can join. We have students across the world in US, Canada, they join our sessions and all that. So get a good simulator. So this is the 7th edition. Let me put it beside the 4th edition. I don't know if you can see the difference, the thickness. The thickness. And I got my PMBOK 8th edition, the current PMBOK. I don't know if you can see it. This is the 8th, this is the 7th. So this exam you are going to write, how can it be based only on this? It's not so. So get good ATP, get good simulator, and you will be fine. And now the professional development unit, that is the PDU. PMI does not want to write the exam and go and sleep. So you have to engage in what we call continuous learning. And in the continuous learning, that's where you get PDUs. PMI usually account for an hour to equal 1 PDU. But you cannot say, oh, I've been in a meeting for 30 hours with 30 PDUs. So if you are a member and you're already certified, you need PDUs for, we call it recertifying. And also PMP, you need 60 PDUs, risk and all those, you need 30 PDUs. And for you to claim the PDUs, you need your PMI ID, not your certification ID. So how do you get your PMI ID? Log into pmi.org. At the top right corner of the page is your name. Click on it. It's a drop-down menu. Then you can select dashboard. When you go to your dashboard, your name is onto your left, and then you see your details when you join PMI, and then your PMI ID. It is no money, so I'm unable to memorize the number. So I wrote it somewhere. Each time I needed it, I just go to my phone to retrieve it so that I can get my PDUs. Sometimes people give their certification ID number. Your certification ID number is someone's PMI ID. So the person will get your PDUs. So that is, so if you're a member without certifications, they don't have any business with PDUs. You only need PDU when you are certified. Hi, Jumoke. Please, is PDU necessary for PMI member? Secondly, after the training session, is the exam taken any time or there is stipulated time or date for the exam? I think I've already explained the PDU part for member. That if you are just a member without certificate, sorry, forget about the gist. If you are a member without certification, you don't need PDU. After the training session, this is the process. You do your training, you apply. It takes PMI about 5 working days, but I see that PMI is responding faster than any time. Because the last class I had on PMP, we finished on a Saturday. Some people received their approval that Saturday. Some people got it on Sunday. Some people got it on Monday. And previously, it used to be if they applied on Saturday, by Thursday or Friday the following week, they will receive feedback. So it takes PMI within 5 working days to get you the approval. So you sit for the class, you apply. How do you apply? You go to pmi.org, you log in if you're a member. If you're not a member, click on certification. It's a drop-down menu, and then it's a drop-down menu, select PMP, and then when you get to the PMP, or to the right, you will see apply. You click on the apply, and then provide the 2 requirements. You need to tell us your academic qualification, because if you have a degree, you need to prove to PMI that you have 3 years of project management work experience at least. If you are not a degree holder, maybe OND or HND, you need to prove that you have 5 years of project management work experience. So they want to know if truly you are a graduate. So you need to provide your academic record and then your professional training. That is the 35 hour. They tell where you had the training, you put the name of the company. If it's ATP, it will automatically come out. Yes, and then you submit your project management work experience. As you are submitting, there is like a bar that is counting the number of months. And once you get to the top right corner of the page, once you get a 36 months, then it closes that page for you to submit the application. So that is the application. And then once PMI gives you approval, you have 1 year validity period. It means you have to write the exam within this 1 year. And it is after you have received the approval that you can pay. When you receive the approval, they will send you a link, then you can pay. It is after you have paid that you can schedule the exam. So you apply, you go for the training, you apply, you receive approval, you pay, and then you schedule your exam within your 1 year validity period. So when you schedule, you are choosing your date. I want to write on February 14th, 2026, because it's the Lover's Day, or that's the day of my birth, something like that. So you will choose, but it has to be within your validity period. I hope I answered your question. Let me pick a question here. Oh, this place is my TikTok page. Hi, I'm preparing for CAPM exam. Which study material would you advise I use? I hope you had your training with ATP. The training or the course where they gave you will be sufficient for you. Will be sufficient for you. Then please, can you volunteer without being said? Of course. Of course. You can volunteer without certification. You see, people mix it. We have two broad services. You have membership and you have certifications, and they are mutually exclusive. The second president of PMI Ghana had no certification, and he was a good president. You see, so, and it's a volunteering role as well. So you can volunteer without certification. The main requirement that you need to volunteer is you must be a member. By a member, a valid member. It means you have paid your subscription. So yes, you can volunteer without certification. This is another question. I'll be writing my exam online, cause no space to do it at a center until next year. And I'm prepared to do it this year. What is your advice for someone taking the exam online? What they should do or shouldn't do for online testing? One, you need to ensure that you have good internet connectivity. If you are doing that, they would have tested your internet connectivity, you would have downloaded the app, and when you are writing on the day of the exam, make sure you don't have any app open on your laptop, and make sure you don't move from the camera. Let's say like this, you see I've moved, they will close the exam. You have to constantly stay in the camera. So, and then the desk or the table where you are going to write the exam must be must not have any paper or documents, must be clean, because you're going to show them. Yeah. And then you must have a form of identification to show to them. So these are the things that you need to do. These are the things you need to do. Your internet is very, very important. Make sure you have, if you're using a desktop or you're using a laptop, make sure in case of power outage, make sure your modem is not connected to power, if like the grid, so that in case there is power outage, it will affect the connectivity. Because once it blinks, you have ended the exam. It doesn't matter whether you've answered only one or two questions, you know. So make sure your internet connectivity, it cannot blink. Make sure your system is powered for the duration of the exam. Never move from the camera view. Get a place that is quiet, that there are no distractions. So these are some of the tips that I can give you. Oh, most welcome, Shlat. If you miss membership subscription for some time, do you have to pay for all the missed period? No. So because I have seen these questions few times where people would say, "Oh, I didn't renew my membership for say 3 years. Is PMI going to calculate all these 3 years?" No. When you are ready, you want to pay, you pay for 1 year. You pay for 1 year. Hi, Jumoke. I just got certified 4 months ago. Will it be prudent to pursue the RMP since I'm in the mining sector? Thanks. First of all, congratulations on, I'm assuming it's PMP certification, because it is not easy. So celebrate yourself. And then for the risk, of course, you can do the risk management professional, because where you are is risk related. In fact, all of us, even if you're at home, you are driving, you are cooking, it's risk related. So yes, you can pursue that. And we also offer this training. So yes, you can do that. Okay, my contacts. I'm putting my contacts in the chat box. Well, somebody should unmute their mics and ask me questions so that I can hear someone's voice. I know Albert did that at the beginning of the session, but yeah. Yes, any question for me?
Hello,
And
good evening.
good evening.
Yeah, my name is Joanna. So for me, I graduated 2 years ago from GIMPA. I did my master's in project management, and after that, I want to write the exams, certification, but something is holding me back. Like I don't have the experience and all that. So I'm not too sure about it. That's why I actually joined this evening to get more insight into it and to know the steps to take towards the exam. But I think from your explanation, you were saying like I have worked for like about 20 years, not in project management per se, but my area of work, we've done a bit of real estate, then installation for companies and all that. So I'm guessing it's all part of project management. So do you think, do I need to do more before I can write the exams, take the certification, or I need to get the experience into, project management proper before I can write the exams? Thank you.
Most welcome, and thanks for joining this live. This morning, somebody contacted me, and one of the people who joined the live last week on TikTok, and the person said something similar to what you said. I don't have the formal project management job. I'm like, okay, tell me what you have done, because PMI defines projects as a temporary endeavor that has beginning, produces unique results, and ends. So if you organize a wedding party or a birthday party, or you even organize football match for the guys here, you have to determine which pack are we using. Are we going to do 5-5 or 3-3? Are we going to wear? How do we distinguish ourselves? Okay, some people should wear white shirt. Some people should wear. These are all part of the planning. Okay. Then the day of the event, are we going to eat afterwards? Da, 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 da. We need the first aid box. Then on the day of the play, you implement all this plan, and then afterwards you close it. Tomorrow you're not going to play football again. You're not going to play football again because you have implemented. So that's a project. So the time you were planning it, that it was an idea, that's the start of the project. Then you initiated it, then planning, then executing. So that can be, let's say, 2 months or 3 months project. So you may not be working in a space that says project, or you have a title that says project. Once you're able to come up with activities that we can quantify and say that, or um, explain as projects, you are good to go. So what I do for my students is I have a template that I share with them to guide them in capturing their project management work experience. Then I work through that with them to understand what they have done and all that. So from what you have said, I'm sure you can easily get 3 years project management work experience. It's just that PMI is intentional that your project management work experience should be 10 years from now, like before now. So like 2025, 2024, 2020, like it should not be 15 years ago or 20 years ago. Joanna, did I answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
I've also dropped my number in the chat box, so you can pick it and let's have a further conversation if you need additional information. Yes, any other question for me? Most welcome, Joanna. Yes, any other question? And as a member of PMI, you have access to all the PDFs on risk, on ACP, just certified practitioner on PM. So the guides, I have a folder. I have downloaded all in the folder, and even certification that I'm anticipating that I would love to do, I have downloaded them. And once in a while, I go to the page to check whether you have a newer version. I don't love reading like that, but I love um I love acquiring knowledge. I want when I'm talking to be making sense. I don't just want to be talking anyhow. So I take advantage of the PDFs of all these guides. So as a member with valid subscription, like I even downloaded the Pinbook 8th edition before I bought. So I had it, and it was based on that I was able to introduce the Pinbook 8th edition to people who follow me. So take advantage of it. I go to the website. Just, I mean, the way you can be playing with your phone, play with the PMI's website like that. You log in, and then there's an horizontal menu, and then you have the certification, you have membership, you have learning, you have others, events. Just click and see what is there. Just click and see what is there, because these are some of the values that you can get as a member of PMI. So that's one of my advices to you as well. And then the PMI Infinity is like it's like the Chat GPT of PMI. So I mean, use it. So any other question for me? Yes, those on TikTok, do you have any question for me? Have I missed any question? Hey, no question. So I'm guessing that you are good to go. Let me look at the, yes, Mr. Isiedu.
Yes, Jumike. Good evening. So, I was the one that asked the question about the RMT. Yeah, so I want to find out when is your training starting, and so that I can plan myself very well for the upcoming training.
All right, thank you very much, Ernest. We are in the course of scheduling the trainings. We finished with that of the PMP. We are working on scheduling that of the risk and the ACP. The truth of the matter is you have more people interested in PMP than this specialized training. So often you end up training one person or two people. But we have a commitment to empowering people. So we don't actually mind training one person. So once the schedule is available, I'm going to share it in my WhatsApp channel, Jumoke Lafenwa's WhatsApp channel. That will be the first place, and then we make some noise, and hopefully you would see it. But for now, we are yet to schedule the risk management training. I need to look at the dates and then do that for the ACP and the RMP. But there should be one in first quarter of 2026. Most welcome. So I see Abubakar, I see Ato Afo, I see Emmanuel Alban, I see Brymon. I think Brymon, you have registered for the training. Is it the same Brymon? I see. So you people should ask me questions. So ask me questions, otherwise we'll have to end, yeah, instead of just holding you here.
Hi, Jumoke.
Hello.
Please, when you do the payment, how long does it take before your examination comes? Approval for the examination comes.
There's no approval for the exam.
When you do the payment for the exam to write the exams.
It's a process. So you have paid. The next thing is to schedule.
Are you schedule yourself or they will schedule
You will
the
schedule yourself. You will choose the month, the week, the day, the time that you want to. One of my students shared with me that when he went to the page to schedule his exam, no date was vacant or available. You see, the calendar, if a day is not available, it will be grayed, so you can't even click. And he picked their number, called them, and they were able to open the portal for him to schedule. So if you want to write the exam, say in December, and you've gone to the portal, and you can call the center you want to write it. So you determine when you want to write the exam. The only approval you need is the application. Once you receive the application, you determine when to pay for the exam. You determine when to schedule the exam. You determine when to write the exam.
All right, thank you very much. I want to do mine in January, so.
So you can actually check to book once you have effected the payment. Because like I said, people, and anytime the exam is changing, there's a rush. There's a rush. People want to write quickly. So don't just say you want to write in January. Make sure you actually schedule and you have the date. And what scheduling also does is it motivates you, it propels you to study. Because now you know you have a date. You are working towards a date. Compared to I will schedule, I will write, Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, Jumoke.
Good evening.
I want to ask a follow-up on Aban's question. What if you schedule and something happens, you're unable to write it on the scheduled date? What happens?
You can actually go to the portal to change your date, but there's a condition. If you are changing, let's say I have scheduled to write the exam in, say, January 20 something. You see that from now to January 20 something is more than 30 days. I will be able to change for free. But let's say I have scheduled the exam to write on 24th of this month, and something came up today, and I needed to shift it. It's less than 30 months. I'll pay. I've forgotten if it is $70 or $90. You will pay to change it. You can change it 5 days to the exam, but you will pay. Once it is less than 30 days, you pay.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other question, suggestion, or you want to share experience? If you are certified, that's what I actually do. I ask my students to share their experience. Sometimes hearing from someone that has written the exam, passed or failed, actually helps. So if you are here and you want to share your experience, please shoot. Or I've explained something and you think you have more information that you can add, come on. Give us. Hey, some of the people on the call, are you behind your laptop? Are you sure you are there?
Yes, I'm here. For me, I'm here. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, any question, suggestion, or you need some motivational talk because you are writing the exam. Maybe before some of you joined, I said you may not feel that you are 100% ready to write the exam, but you need to know that you have covered you understand the principles. When it comes to project management, you know now that there are three main models. There are people, process, and business environment. You know that when you are talking about people, you are talking about your stakeholders, you are talking about your team members, you are talking about customers, those are the people you are talking with, and you are working with humans. So emotional intelligence, in fact, what we call power skills, many people call it soft skills, but PMI calls them power skills. Your ability to interact with people, communicate, influence, observe, active listening, emotional intelligence. Remember, emotional intelligence starts with you understanding your own emotions and your excesses, and then managing those emotions before you now start managing others, as a project manager. Yeah, so all these are things that you will need to be able to understand or address questions on the people aspect, and then conflicts too, and then the process. That is where the choice of methodology is significant. Whether you are going to use predictive. When you're using predictive, you know that it is extensive planning at the beginning. So when you are reading a question that is talking about extensive planning has been done at the beginning of the project, then you know it's predictive, and then you have this robust plan, which we call the project management plan. For adaptive to you have project management plan, but it's not that robust like the predictive. Okay. And the process is when you talk about adaptive, what goes into it, the team members, you know that the role of the project manager and the Scrum Master is not the same. The project manager is the one who sits and directs. For Scrum or Agile, the Scrum Master or the coach only facilitates, create atmosphere for the team to work, because the team members, they self-organize. So nobody tells them that you take this task, you take that task. No, they self-organize and they pick what they can do based on the work they pick from the product backlog. They've broken it down, and then they will pick it. So you need to understand that. So when you're reading question, is it adaptive? And they say pick the odd one out. Anyone that is suggesting that a Scrum Master is telling them what to do is a wrong option, because you don't do that in adaptive. So that is process. And then the business environment. Or yes, that is where you are thinking about the value to the customer, to ensure that the project is delivered on time, there's no budget overrun and all that. So you need to understand these three models or domains clearly, so that if any question comes, however they twist the question, you'll be able to answer it. So maybe some of the questions in your simulator, you may not be able to answer them. But when during the exam, because you understand these things, all these three domains, you also understand that you are a project manager, you are a value creator. Okay, so you are looking for proactiveness in the responses. Don't escalate, don't be quick to escalate unless the question clearly stated that this situation is outside your threshold. Then you escalate. But if it has not said that, you need to assess, you need to investigate, to understand the problem, and then find solution. If you are working, even in an organization, if there's a problem, every time you go to report, every time you go, your boss self will look, say, this person, is this supposed to be here? But if there's problem, and then you say, I discovered that this issue is here, and this is what my team and I are doing to resolve this problem. That is much better than you not doing anything. So these are the things you need to know before you write the exam. And I also tell people, a day to the exam is not when you are doing crash program. I've seen people, or I've heard, let me phrase that, I've heard people enter the exam hall and they become blank. This even happens in uni, when people are now going to 3 days to exam, they are not sleeping, they are reading, no. So you need to pace it. You need to pace so that you can rest well, because when you open the question as human beings, your heart will do but when you are rested, you'll be able to, catch yourself to be able to answer the question. Me, I believe in prayer. So when I get to the exam hall, any exam, I've been doing this right from my secondary school day. I'll pray. It's not like the prayer, I put my pen down, like consciously saying that I'm relying on the Holy Spirit, Then I have also learned how to take deep breath. I've learned how to take deep breath. The deep breath calms me down. So I breathe through my nostril. When you breathe, your stomach is supposed to come out, because I see people breathe and their stomach goes in. So I take deep breath into my nostril and I exhale through my mouth. So I do that repetitively and it calms me down. And I tell myself, whatever can happen can happen. Worst case scenario, I may fail the exam, but I'm not going to fail this exam, like psych myself. And that's what I have been doing. Last week, I presented how you can prepare for the exam within 14 days, the PMP exam, excluding the training period, of course, the 35-hour training, how you can actually pace yourself. And that is doing about 2 to 3 hours every day. So if you are writing the exam, you must be doing something about PMP every day. You don't just leave it. Do a bit in the morning, do a bit in the afternoon, do a bit in the evening if you can. Or you look for a time slot to do everything, but every day. Make notes on your iPad, on your phone, physical. Me, I do all. I take notes on my notes, and of course, I have access on it on my MacBook, on my iPad. But I also take physical notes. I take A4 sheets and I fold them in two. So I number it 1, 2, 3, 4, and I write salient points. But sometimes maybe I go to church for rehearsal and the rehearsal is not starting on time. I pick my notes and try to, like, I don't give space. I go to the bathroom to do major. I just don't sit down like this 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just looking at the wall and counting tiles. No, if I'm writing exams, that I go with my phone to read the notes. I go with the A4 sheets. No. So like you have to consciously do that. Consciously do that. And when you do that, it helps you even identify areas you are yet to master that you need improvement. Never sweeping it in under the carpet. It could be God telling you that you need to pay attention to this. Okay. Someone is asking here, the scheduling for the exam was a smooth process and the best choice is to write at the center. Thanks, Benedict. That's the best option. The period I was president of PMI Ghana, I had people that had issues with them writing in their homes or office. But I've also had people who wrote in their homes or office and they were excited about it. But some people who wrote at home, they knocked, they hit their foot hit the extension box and the laptop went off or the internet went off or MTN itself blinked, and that was it. I remember clearly somebody said he has just answered 5 questions. As far as PMI is concerned, you are completed, and that person had to pay for a receipt to write the exam that you wrote only 5 questions out of 180 questions. Another incident is, I don't know how many of you probably might have received message from these Asians, just pay $600, we sit for the exam for you. So PMI too know that people do that. They take over your laptop. You will be seated though. The camera is on you, but someone else has taken over your laptop. And that's the reason if you want to write at home, you will download PMI's the app for you to be able to write it at home, and they will like scan your system and all that. And that's why it's also advisable that you close every window and only leave the exam window open. And they cancel people's exam. One, because maybe they had issue while writing. Some wrote, they finished the exam. And this day, the number of days they tell you that they will get back to you, they assess and they realize that this one, you are not the one who did it. And I remembered how I was trying to fight for them because I never thought any of them could do that. But PMI insisted that no, they did something, and PMI offered that okay, reschedule the exam free to write it. That was when I realized that PMI meant it. But if you wrote at a center, you have transferred the risk to the center. If you hit something in the internet or computer went off, it's not your business. They would have to be liaising with PMI to correct that, Yeah. And then somebody took over your laptop. The desktop is not yours. You went to the center to write it. That will not be your situation. But if you don't have any of this, of course, writing from your home is comfortable. I remember one of the PMI staff that is involved in PMP. We met 2024 at the PMI Ghana National Conference. And she said she wrote the exam at home, but she didn't enjoy it because she couldn't look left, she couldn't look right, that she had to sit straight. That she loved the experience because it would help her to know what a candidate goes through. So that's that. Have I answered the question? It was not even a question. Somebody said writing at the center is the best option. And I agree with that. But some people actually have situation that warrants them to go for the writing from home. So if you're writing from home, you need to be intentional and careful about it. Neymar, I see your hand.
Yes, Jomoka, thank you so much for the heads up. So you tend to respond to my concerns. So I mean, a lot of people intend to actually do the exam at the test center, but for example, this is the end of the year. Like, I really would have loved to do my test at the center, but if I check all the time, there is no slot. And then I have studied and I'm prepared, and I do not want to, give my time more time, like up to January. So it's like I just want to do this thing too, and get it behind me. So sometimes people are really constrained, yeah, and that's why they have to take the exam at online, because sometimes there will be no schedule. If you have a fixed time to actually write the exam, you will want to achieve that. So that's just another side of it I wanted to point out.
Yeah, that's correct. So just be careful. Make sure that you don't leave the window, your camera. You are constantly in on the camera. You don't move out of it. Because when you move out of it, it makes it look like you are picking something. In fact, someone spoke to me last week and said that she bent down to pick her AC remote and the window just closed. That's the end of the exam. And she had not really done much. So make sure you stay on the camera, look straight, nobody talks to you. You understand, no distraction whatsoever.
And just a last concern, is it advisable, to take the breaks if you are doing it online and you are worried about all these things? Is it something you just try to stress yourself, or it is not good to actually do that? It is good to take the break, or you just try to compress yourself to just do it fast? What do you think?
I think you can take the breaks if you need it. Because before you go on break, the 60 you have done, you can't have access to it again. You have submitted it. And you don't know the next question. So you can take your break.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yes, any other question for me? Any other question? So my parting words, since there are no questions, my parting words are that write the exam. Don't procrastinate. you are busy and you will always be busy because, I mean, your workload will keep increasing. Your workload, family, and all that. So deny yourself some of the time you sleep. Deny yourself some of the time, boys, you go and sit down and be talking about Liverpool, the most expensive player, for that period, just deny yourself. And then once you are done, you can go back to it. Yes, the exam is changing. It will change officially in July 2026, but this is how it goes. So I am taking my time to even explain to people who are applying for our training in January and February. It means you must write the exam on or before June, because the exam will change in July. If you do not write the exam and you had the training now or January, February, March, April, it means that you are not adequately prepared, because I started by saying the PMP exam is based on exam content outline, and the exam content outline is changing, is including AI and all those items into the content. So you will not be adequately prepared for the exam if you are basing it on the training you had or you are going to have in January, February. The ATPs would start training using the current exam content outline in April. So for those that may have gone to may have seen the form that we use in registration. I mean, when I say we, Okin Value, you see that we have a training starting on 17th January. Then we have another one starting, I think, 21st February. And then the next is April, because then we will start training with the new content in April. So you will be ready to write the exam. So you can write the exam in July. If we use that content outline to prepare you for the exam, you can't write in June, because the content outline the training is based on, the exam will be in July. So, and this is one of the errors people will be making. They will still go to people that are not ATPs, and those people will still continue to use that. They will say, oh, it's just the proportion of the exam that has changed. Previously, this was 50%, now it's this percent. It is more than that. It is more than that. They would even have to take us, we that will be instructing through all this. And one of the advantages that I think I have, that I've been overlooking, is because I've had years of training. I wrote 2011. I started training PMP in 2012. So I've trained based on 4th edition. I've trained based on 5th edition. I've trained based on 6th edition. I've trained based on 7th edition. And I'll be training very soon based on 8th edition. And previously, I used to do the difference. What is the difference, and all that. And I think I attempted that in one of the sessions that I had. You can have access to the recordings on YouTube. Just check Okin Value Limited on some of the recordings, as I'll be putting this one to them. So you have to be strategic. And there's a song that God didn't promise you that it will be easy. It's not going to be easy. I tell that's just the truth. This is a gold standard. It's a global certification. Of course, it's not something that you can just wake up and say, yeah, let me go and write it. No, it requires work, for their own credibility. So you need to put in the work. You need to trust yourself. Usually when it's 1 week, it's like some pressure. Don't be pressured. Be pressured to study, but don't be pressured. Then you become what is it called? You can't do anything. Paralyzed. You are not paralyzed to study. No, it should propel you that I have 1 week. And don't wait for 1 week. Be studying so that when you get to 1 week, you are winding down and you are picking on the items you don't know. You are not very clear. Like, okay, product backlog. What do you mean by product backlog prioritization? Okay, you read about it, things like that. Then a day before the exam, sleep well. I try not to pick 7:30 for exam because I don't want to wake up and now be with the people going to work. Because I work most of the time from home. So I want to pick 10 so that people going to work, they've gone, then by 8, I leave the house, I get to the venue about 8:45. I sit. If you see me going to write exam, you think I'm just going to visit someone. As I'm going, I'm playing music, I'm worshiping, I'm taking deep breath, I'm psyching myself, but I'm also telling myself, hey, this money must not waste too, and I get to the venue, in fact, I get to the venue early, and sometimes I may start the exam, before the time I picked. If I go to the exam center like this 9:15 and there's an empty slot, they can ask me, so are you ready to write the exam? I say, yes, I write. As a person, I don't do well studying on the day of the exam. I have known this about myself. So you also need to know about yourself, and all that. And play on your strength. Me, I play on my strength. Play on your strength. Yes, Olubumi, I so much trust that you do excellently in your exam. Please, how do I contact my Nigeria PMI? Oh, okay. I would share the office manager's number with you after the session. So people ask me, Ujumi, why should I be a member of a local chapter? The first thing I actually say is that you'll be contributing to the growth of project management profession in your country. So you will not just be talking, and the government is not doing this, and the projects are not well managed. You will not only be doing that, but you are involved in. And how are you involved? One, by being a member of the professional body. Two, by managing projects well, by being an ambassador of your PMI local chapters. You understand? And this is intentional. It's intentional. That's how you grow it. You increase the mindset. People know that, sometimes you talk to people, they say, oh, anybody can manage projects. Anybody can manage. You don't need any. It's not true. Not everybody can manage projects. Not everybody can lead. No, I'm just realizing that you may desire that, I want to lead people. Desire is different from having the skills and the requirements. And sometimes, if you are not surrounded by people that can give you the positive or constructive criticism, you will be running things down and you are not even aware you are running things down because you are probably full of yourself, or you think by just desiring to lead, you are leading, or by desiring to be a project manager. No, it requires skills, and there is something about experience. And I use it to my advantage because most of the people, in fact, some of the people training here in Ghana, I trained them. Some of the people training, they started after I have started, and so I use it to my advantage. I bring it forward to the value I give my students based on the years of experience. And that's why I have more students writing and passing at first sitting, even though I failed at my first sitting, because I'm able to tell you what I did wrong that you should not repeat. You see, so if you listen, you are going to pass at first sitting. If you put in the extra work, you're going to pass at first sitting. But if you do it, as Ghanaians we say, biara, like anyhow, you also will get anyhow results. Because, like, you can't guess. You need to understand the scenario. And nobody will tell you what scenario you would receive. But when you understand and you put yourself in the position of the project manager and you are solving problem, you are resolving conflict, you are listening to stakeholders. In fact, there are some questions that will tell you that you have agreed on scope, you have the WBS, you have the requirements, and then deliverables, the customer is refusing to sign off. What do you do? Someone will say, we agreed, it's documented. You deliver now. Because you will see such options. You deliver, after all, we agree. So why is the person changing his or her mind? No, you are supposed to engage that stakeholder until the two of you are on the same page. The stakeholder agrees, accepts the deliverable. Sometimes they may have changed the scope of the project, but that is not what you agreed on. So you have to systematically work and converse with that stakeholder until they accept, and then whatever they want to do becomes a new project for you to take. So you don't just say, it's in the documents now, or there's your stakeholder is saying that the report you are sending is not fine. You say, but we agreed at the beginning, and last week I sent the report and there was no issue. I don't have time. I need to work. The work you are working is for who? It's for your stakeholders. So you listen to them and try to, engage them until you have a common ground, and then you work with that. So you have to be intentional. Don't think as an African that I'm the project manager. When I talk, you stop. I mean, you pick, no, because the principles of project management is not African inclined like that way. Because anyway, we have some leaders in Africa that don't think like that. But what I'm just trying to say is that you are not loading your project management title on your team members. You are working collaboratively. You are listening to their feedback. You are working to improve them. That by the time you finish the project, they should be better off than they were before the project. So those are the things you are looking at. Empowering your team. That is releasing some of your power so that they can also make decisions. Is this the same question for all writing the exams on this? No. The questions are not the same. So you can enter the exam hall. You're all writing PMP, but my number 1 is not your number 1. My number 2 is not your number 2. But where the questions come from is the same database. It's the same database. So they have lots of questions. If you go to Linear, the one at Total House, they built the cubicle, you are covered. Unless you do like this, before you will see the person here, and you have headphone noise cancellation if you don't want to be distracted and all that. So you are on your own, really. So you have to study. But you see, all these things I'm saying, it's so easy to pass PMP. It's so very easy if you put in the work, and it's also very easy to fail. Another thing I need to also let you know is that don't use your organization as reference point in answering your question, because your organization is not the standard. So don't use your organization. Don't say, we've been doing this for the past 5 years and we've been getting the results. So what are you seeing? No, but we can also do it this way. Sometimes people will say, okay, is that what PMI is saying? Okay, but we can also do it this way. But PMI is saying no. So always look at it from the lens of PMI, not from the lens of your organization. And so if you answer the question and you are reviewing it and you see that the answer is contrary to the one you pick, you can say, oh, I got this wrong because this is what we do in my organization. Don't fight it. So look at the questions, the scenarios from the lens of PMI and not from the organization's lens. I hope this is helpful. So if you have done the training, I encourage you, go through the process of application. If you require assistance in applying, let me know. And so I will see if I can offer support. If you have not done the training, you can do the training. What you are doing in 2026 is only 3 weeks now. Before, we're using 6 Saturdays. Now we are going to use only 3 weeks. We do Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. So 3 Saturdays, 3 Sundays, and then we are done with the training. Then someone will ask, is that enough to write the exam? No, because it's even more work for you now. Because the simulator we have now, we've broken them down into the lessons. So lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And you have about 41 of such quizzes, 10 questions, 12 minutes, 10 questions, 12 minutes. When you finish solving this, then you get to the exam. You have 5 exams. The first exam is 50 questions. The second exam is 100 questions. The third, fourth, and fifth exams are 180 questions. And they're also time boxed, 230 minutes. And so, you'll be seeing your true color. And I tell people, use your first attempt to a question or set of questions actually tells you how prepared you are. So if you score 70, for me, the pass mark is 80%. So for the people writing and they are saying that fail, is 80%, which is a bit ambitious. Don't relax. That's what we're asking, because those are not the exams you are going, those are not the questions you are going to face. This is just to guide you. Okay. And if you're not doing well, don't be demotivated or demoralized. I say, this exam, can I write it? Of course you can write it. The people that are passing the exam, they have one head like you. So you can do it. You just need to change your mindset and actually see why you are scoring low. Okay, maybe it's the way you are processing. Read the questions from beginning to the end before you answer. One thing I've also discovered now is that go and read the question. You know, they can paint scenario, then read the question. What shouldn't the project manager do? Or what should the project manager do first? So read what should the project manager do first, and you go to the body of the question. You understand? It helps me. That's one of the things I've discovered now when I'm practicing the questions. So I hope this has been helpful. I've already shared my number. If you have any question, please feel free to drop the question. I do receive a lot of WhatsApp messages because in fact, you put my number on Google, you see that my number is everywhere because I use it predominantly for PMI Ghana. I use it a lot. So I do receive tons of WhatsApp message. If you send message and I don't respond immediately, maybe you send in the morning, in the evening, I've not responded, please send again so that it can come up. Because sometimes I just click, so that the number can reduce. I've not really read. So just send something again so that it will force me to read the message. I wish you all well. I pray that you take good care of, I advise that you take good care of yourself. As you're preparing for the exam, eat well, sleep well, and have, good orientation mind-wise. So I pray for safety for you the last days of the year. And I encourage you, as I wish I got somebody that encouraged me, because me, when I failed PMP, I didn't want to write again. No. Hey, I didn't want to write the exam again. I was so angry. I even wanted PMI to give me my scripts. That is not possible. It's not possible, until I got a simulator. And that was when I realized that I actually failed. That I failed. It's not that they didn't score it well. So the simulator is actually very helpful. The simulator, I don't give it out for free. The simulator is 950 Ghana cedis if you want only the simulator. I do exam prep, but for exam prep is for those who have done their 35-hour training. So the exam prep, I do what I call speed overview. I go over the training models and then answer questions, and then we discuss the questions. So I have like an abridged slides that looks at all the exam content, so you can use it maybe for revision. Yeah. And then I now give you the simulator. So I'm encouraging you that you should please write the exam. You can pass. You will pass. Just put in the work. On this note, I will say do have a wonderful evening, and thanks so much for joining. If I should come live, it will be on TikTok. You can join. I'll just maybe be talking, but I won't be having power sessions where we would have this on Zoom until the end of the year. If you can see my eyes are red. I actually need rest. I need rest. I'll be acting in my church as Herod on 24th of December. So I wonder how I do so many things. I sing, I act, I'm a good actress when I put my mind to it. Yeah. And this is the time I'm also planning activity for my daughter's foundation. So that's why I'm taking early break. Yeah. So thank you and God bless you. And I'm accessible on WhatsApp. Okay. I wish you well. Bye-bye.